Hello, this is Pam Harden for Western Carolina ENT 610, POA Consulting LLC, Porter's Five Forces Analysis. POA Consulting LLC is a business concept which offer residential real estate developers and property owners in North Carolina a packaged professional service to form a nonprofit corporation for their subdivision property owners' needs. So what are the five forces? The five forces are rivalry, substitutes, buyer power, supplier power, and threat of new entrants. Let's start with rivalry. POA LLC would be forming nonprofit corporations for residential real estate subdivisions, and this service is primarily being provided by attorneys at this point. POA Consulting could offer a lower hourly rate than attorneys. Most attorneys in Western North Carolina charge around $250 an hour, and my fee would be somewhere between $125 and $150 an hour. So the force of rivalry would be moderate. Substitutes. The option for substitutes are few. There are some attorney services online, such as LegalZoom and a variety of others, that could be used in forming nonprofit corporations. However, in researching this, there were none identified that specialized in this niche market of forming POAs. So the force of substitution, I concluded, would be low. Buyer power. Buyers are customers for POA Consulting or residential subdivision property owners or real estate developers. When the buyers are property owners in the absence of a developer, the customers would consist of a collective group of people, being the property owners. Residential real estate developers could also be a collective group of people depending on how that is set up, or it could be a sole proprietor. POA formations are absolutely essential for private subdivisions for a variety of reasons, and the force of buyer power would be low. Supplier power. This would be a cottage business. It would be run out of my home, and a home office is already set up in my home in Asheville, North Carolina. It could certainly be run as a virtual business, being that I would not need to be in the location of the subdivision. Many of the services could be provided over the internet, via mail and phone and conference calls and things like that. It would be necessary to stay on top of technology and changes in technology, as that would definitely hold endless possibilities to grow the business and to stay on top of that. The force of supplier power would be low. The threat of new entrants. The residential real estate market in itself is an industry that is highly fragmented with low market share, and legal practices are generally at least in Western North Carolina and the region I live in, are confined to local or regional scope. Don't know of any really national huge forces in that field. Did a little quick search on the sourcejusta.com, and it listed 44 real estate attorneys in Asheville, 34 in Hendersonville, and 27 in Waynesville. So there seems to be absolutely no shortage of real estate attorneys, but I think the industry and the practices are fragmented and scattered about. So the threat of new entrants for this would be, I think, somewhat low. It is a niche market. So the conclusion, based on the five forces, I think the industry would be attractive for POA Consulting to move into. It does appear that this is a unique concept and would be targeted, as I said, to a niche market that's not currently being cultivated, particularly by the competitors, in the way the service would be delivered. Continued innovation would certainly be necessary to create greater value for the customers and compete with future rivals, and as I mentioned, it would be absolutely essential to stay on top of technology. Thank you for listening. I hope you've enjoyed this presentation.